Every single day, it's like a gift. I never used to look at life like that before. Each season, I get to see the flowers blooming and I think, wow, last year I didn't think I was going to get to see this again.
In life, you're going to have challenges. They will be like fights, and you will have to face them with that same type of mentality. I'm currently 46 years old. I grew up an only child, raised by my mother and my grandmother. I am the father of 5 girls. The training that I do is boxing training, mostly, and strength training. I always want to be fit without necessarily having to play something. It'll be 20 years in December this year that I've been doing that training. What I like about boxing is that you're not dependent on anybody else. It's you and only you. And it wasn't just for the physical aspect. There's a lot of things in strength training and boxing you can transfer to your own personal life.
I'm 54 years old. I'm a mom and a wife. I love to swim, bike, and run. That's what I spend most of my time doing. I started triathlon about 8 years ago and just absolutely loved it.
Somewhere along the line, she decided we were going to do triathlons. I came home one week and she said, "Have you ever thought about doing a triathlon?" And I said, "Yeah, I have, but I haven't done it." She goes, "Well, I signed you up for one next week."
I think a lot of people, if they're having a bad day, they don't think to be active. They think, oh, go lay on the couch or go to sleep or something, but I'm kind of the opposite. My first instinct is to get on my bike and go for a bike ride because it feels so nice to be outside and moving and the fresh air on your face.
Can we talk in a little bit more specifics about your cancer?
The doctor said, you have something the size of 2 footballs growing in your abdomen. So I was unlucky enough to have the cancer, but lucky enough to have a type of cancer where you could do something about it.
It was very terrifying and continues to be, actually. I have to go for CT scans every 6 months because we do expect that the cancer will come back at some point.
Did pancreatic cancer run through my head? The answer was yes, and I put it aside because she's this perfectly healthy 50-year-old and has no risk factors. And right, there's like, don't be an idiot, John, that's not what it is. So, talk about a knockout punch, right? It was just like, no, this can't be.
I've always had a very strong personality and a very competitive drive, so maybe cancer has brought it out just a little bit more. You feel like you just really want to beat this thing.
The scary aspect was, yeah, I don't want to leave my daughters with no father. I don't want to leave my wife as a single mother. I remember thinking, this is not the time for me to go yet. I still have a lot of work to do. I want to see them graduate, I want to see them get married, and I want to be there for that. And in fact, that's why I had made the decision to become a stay-at-home dad.
For someone for whom boxing and training is such a big part of your life, how would you explain the importance of sport and training and things like that to someone who doesn't understand or doesn't play any sport and wouldn't have gone through something like that themselves?
You are gradually losing control of your life because there's multiple doctor appointments, you're being pricked, your blood work's being done, and then you're on the operating table and you're very vulnerable. So it's easy to feel like you're powerless. There's nothing you can do. So regular training, and especially because it's regular, that you know that you have to be somewhere at a certain time, it gives you that sense of control. There's something you can do.
I think in many ways, triathlon and exercise have been a godsend. Gave her goals to aim for instead of, I'm aiming to go to chemo next Thursday. Today, I want to ride my trainer bike for 10 minutes instead of 5 minutes. As I gave her new goals completely, distracted her completely, and made her feel like a human being again.
Triathlon has been huge through my cancer diagnosis and then all the treatment, and now too. I'm glad that I found it before I got sick.
Going through hospital stays, having surgery, whatever, is very dehumanizing. You're a patient, or you go there and you feel sick. And you go to chemo, you feel like a patient. And to go out and ride your bike or run or whatever, swim, you feel like a human being, as opposed to someone who's getting poked, prodded, filled full of nasty chemicals.
Any type of training that you do, it's basically systematic stress on the body. Your body is being stressed for that amount of time, so it becomes very used to it. Cancer is a stress on the body. It's not normal to have a cancer, and surgery is a stress on the body. So just like you have to sustain it by breathing air and eating properly, you do have to sustain it by regular exercise.
Following Sindy's surgery and then the treatment that she was undergoing, even though she wanted to get back in the saddle and running and stuff, did you ever have to rein her back in because of her, naturally really competitive personality?
There was one memorable bike ride where Sindy was having trouble and it was getting worse and worse and worse, and I politely suggested a couple times that maybe we should shut it down. My subtle suggestions were not going very far until I finally came in and said, "That's it, you're done." She said, "Well, we're way out here," and I said, "That's fine, we'll call one of her sons and he'll come pick you up," which he did. I think you were pretty upset with me for a couple days.
Tears were coming out. No, I don't want to stop.
It's hard not to be able to do the same things that you used to be able to do, but at the same time, you have to find a way to adapt and make it work, especially if you do like being active, because that just makes you feel so much better.
It would have been easy to have self-pity, but number one, that doesn't get you anywhere. It just makes you more depressed, so you don't focus on that. You focus on the glass being half full. Of course it's half empty, but it's also half full. That little ray of hope is what you have to hang on to.
Hope has become a really big part of this whole, I don't even want to call it a journey because it's so much worse than a journey, but hope is very, very important, and especially for somebody diagnosed with a really bad cancer. So when you look at a statistic that's so devastating, the important thing is to just believe that you can be one of those people that beats the odds, and just try to remain hopeful, because when you're not hopeful, you're scared. Now that I have survived this long, I feel it's very important to get the message out. Stay hopeful. Survival is possible.
Just to be able to complete another Ironman really is, it's a dream come true. Just being alive this long after my diagnosis and being strong enough to be able to complete, 4-kilometer swim, 180-kilometer bike, and then a marathon. It'll just be amazing to be able to cross that finish line. So I'm really looking forward to it. I think John is too.
Absolutely.